Who keeps watch over the World War II Memorial and the Washington Monument as if they were ships in his fleet that he was sworn to defend? Welcome to the John Paul Jones Memorial, one of Washington, D.C.'s best-kept secrets. Called the father of the American Navy, John Paul Jones was our first hero of the high seas. Although hidden in plain sight, in this series we will take a close look at his statue and features of the memorial, as well as learn all kinds of great stuff. Strap on your life vests as we swim out to the island.
John Paul Jones was a person who famously said, "Surrender? I have not yet begun to fight." Now, this sounds like something Rambo would say, and I'll bet that the creators of the Rambo movies got this idea from John Paul Jones. And basically, John Paul Jones was on a burning and sinking ship in a fight against the British, and the British thought for sure that he would surrender at that point. But he was like, no way, I am not surrendering. And in the end, he won the fight. He made it happen. So again, this is like straight out of a Rambo movie, except this came first. And it really happened. So that is pretty awesome, pretty amazing stuff. And believe it or not, one of his ships was called the Providence. There is actually a replica of this ship close to here, down in Alexandria, which is not far at all from where we are. And you can book a cruise on the Providence. It looks very authentic, pretty much like it did when John Paul Jones was commanding it. So if you ever come to the area and you go to Alexandria, it's worth looking into. I have not been on it, but I have seen it go past numerous times, and it does look really cool. It may be hard to make out, but at the very top, there are those exact words: "Surrender, I have not yet begun to fight!" Exclamation mark. Another interesting feature of this memorial is that it has dolphins on it, and there's not a lot of memorials that have dolphins. It's kind of not obvious that that's what this is supposed to be. It kind of looks more like just some kind of a fish, but it is supposed to be a dolphin. They are also supposed to be spitting water out of their mouths to go right down here into this kind of a water fountain. But as you can see, that's not happening, and it looks pretty bad. We've got a lot of gunk in there. And as I mentioned earlier, people don't really come here, so it kind of makes sense that the water would be turned off and that this is not well maintained. If nobody's coming here, why should the Parks Department spend all the money to keep it going? So that's my guess, at least. But this is what's here, and it's the exact same thing on the other side. There are a lot of great carvings at the base. So right here we see a helmet. It looks kind of like an ancient Greek helmet, which of course would be a symbol of war. And right below it, there is a sword and also an anchor, of course symbolic of war and the sea, which John Paul Jones was all about both. And we've got more up here. And on the other side. And here on the other side, we have another Greek or Roman style helmet. And just below it is something a little different than the other side. Here we have fasces. And this is fasces in the old school way that has the double-edged axe up top. So the fasces symbol is something you see in a lot of statuary in Washington, D.C. and across America and even across the world. You usually see it more without the axe part on top, but more of the base. So this part right here. And what are we looking at exactly? Well, first let me tell you where it comes from. It was popularized by the Romans, although this was not their idea originally. They absorbed this from one of the cultures that they conquered early on. But what it is these are wooden rods. and they are bound together with leather. So if you think about matches, if you take a single match and you snap it in half, it's real easy to do that. But if you took a whole book of matches and put them in your hand and tried to snap it, it's not going to work. Probably you won't get a single one. And this is basically to show that there is strength in numbers. Strength in numbers shows the power of government. And then the axe on top is the power of government to execute its authority, to carry out its laws. And usually with most statuary, again, you don't see the axe part too much, but the lower part you see a lot. In fact, just walking distance from here is the Lincoln Memorial, and the chair that he sits in, the sides of the chair that his hands rest upon have this symbol there. And again, we've got the same kind of stuff up at the top. There's not really anything on the side at the top where he's standing against. All of the carvings are down at the bottom. And this is basically a mirror image of the other side that we talked about. And at the back, and a panoramic view from the back. And we've got the tidal basin back there and the Jefferson Memorial all the way in the background. World War II Memorial coming up. The statue here is made of bronze, and the rest of it is all granite. And I love this angle here with the Washington Monument off to the left and the trees in the middle. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing the John Paul Jones Memorial here. Again, if you're down in this area, of course, you're going to go to the World War II Memorial and the other places. But if you have a few minutes, come across the street and take a look at this. It is really cool. And if you're ever in Annapolis, Maryland, check out the Naval Academy. Check out his space he is in. If you have not seen those videos of my series, go and check them out. And we will see you in the next one. This is Vigoroso, off to the next cool spot. Take care, guys.